Who else has got something? Gwen, how are you?
Doing well. I've presented mine already a few times, gotten so much feedback going back and forth, and at some point I'm just saying, this is where we are.
Yeah, is it, I can I always want to put you in assisted living for some, and I know that's not right. What is your asset?
Actually, I am assisted living.
Okay. Have you always been assisted living?
Ever since boot camp,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have a deal? Are you going to make an offer or what's?
Every time one of my teammates says, "Well, what about this? What about this?" the offer price goes down. So
Yeah.
the ask is 2.625 and we're down to 1.8. It's like a 30% discount.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I
Where
don't know
is
if
it?
huh?
Where is
Oh,
the
it's in
deal?
Cypress, Houston,
Okay.
MSA.
Gotcha. All right. Well, if you want to talk about it, we are here. If not,
Does anybody else have one that's
Gwen,
huh?
this is John, Audrey's husband.
Hi,
You should,
John.
hey, you should bring that that case up because it's really interesting as a case study in underwriting. It's really interesting. It's really different. It looks at things in a really different way, and it makes total sense that the number keeps going down. And I think it'd be interesting for everybody to listen to hear what you're actually having to deal with as far as underwriting. Oh, Audrey's, oh, she just walked past me. But my point is,
Audrey's on the team.
but yeah, but my point is, and I think Amber would agree, it would be interesting to look at it because it is such an unusual case for underwriting. I'm just throwing that out there as unless somebody has something that's more specific and immediate.
Okay, I agree. Does anybody else have you know, real questions? All right. I can share then.
All right, Glenn.
Okay, and can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I actually see a pop-up that says participants can now see your screen. That's new. Um, all right. Assisted living, I would say is one of the most complex underwriting because we consider personnel. We have not such consistent floor plan list.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, blah, blah, blah. And food, raw food,
Hmm.
a huge thing. And it's generally a slow lift, meaning usually pretty empty. So you have to consider a gradient. So let me show. Okay, we are in Houston. It's actually Cypress, which is Northwest Houston. The actual crime grade is D plus, but I don't know if you
Did did
heard, but
you?
there's like an A minus real close. So we have nothing in between except D plus and A minus. So it's looks like a perfect location. So we get the clients from the A minus crime area and well,
How
the
far
person
is that property that's a A minus?
it's at a catty corner, so tip to tip, probably 3 miles.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's still within the 5 to 10 mile that they recommend for our clients, for assisted living clients.
Okay.
They want to be within 15 minutes of driving, and that
Within
would be
15 minutes of what?
where the children of the assisted living actually
Okay.
live.
Okay.
So
So to
you've
kind of
got
visit their,
that's interesting. Where do you find that data? Like where?
that was from the big dogs, actually, from Phil when
So
they
how do
did
you know? So what's the area that this is 15 minutes from?
let me show. Okay, this is
Okay, so you're
our
doing
map.
this with
We're in this
income.
area. Our actual property is like down right where my mouse is.
Okay. So you're working
And
off of that income map.
yeah,
And for those of you who may not have ever seen this, um, this is a justice map that she's pulled up and she's got it clicked on income. So you can see the darker blue, the more the more wealthy the areas are. That's a really fun tool if you guys have never used that. But
this is
that's what I was trying to figure out where you were getting that info from, but that's good. Justice map.
adjusted map looks better because the income is higher for the crime grade. I'll
Mm-hmm.
scroll down to there are two
Mm-hmm.
um, URLs that we use for crime. One is Community Crime Map, and one is crimegrade.org. But here's where we show our D minus, this orangish, and we're down here.
Hmm. And is that a D minus on both of those
Both
different
of these
URLs?
oranges, yeah. But the green, the like forest green, that's an A.
Hmm.
And I think this middle green is C plus.
What is it on Crime Map? Is that pulled up also, or is it just that one?
Uh, I think this is just crime grade.
Yeah. That's unusual to see something with a higher and that income was like 71,000,
Yeah.
right? That's
Mhm.
unusual to see a high income paired with a really bad crime rate. But I would has anybody been there?
Yes. Yes, I've been outside the building a couple times and veteran walked it.
Okay, and what is your sense of that area when you're driving around that area? Does it feel like a D plus or D minus?
This area actually looks nice. It looks more like a B minus to C.
Huh.
Um, but when I was here, when I was visiting on Christmas Day, there was
Mm-hmm.
literally a police standoff across the street.
Hmm. Hmm. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Don't mean to, talk bad about an asset, but
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's where we are. The fun part of assisted living.
Uh-huh. Let's see the
Okay.
dashboard.
Yeah, ask is 2.625. We're
Mm-hmm.
down to offer 1.85 just
Hmm.
to get our
Yeah.
IRR up. This is one of those things where, depending on which principal is looking at it, they
Mm-hmm.
want to handle the risk of assisted living ramp up, filling in different areas. Schreier likes the cap rate at sale at 12%, and Sanjay seems to like the IRR at 30%.
Well, don't we all?
I would say I agree there's risk. I just have to pick one place to put it.
What's your purchase cap rate?
Come down to here. Where are we? Uh, well, it's running in the red, so that's not a fair
Okay. Yeah.
judgment. We're
Okay.
at like -7 or something.
What is it's at -7?
Oh, negative 9.51. Here we are.
Um, that's a huge, that's a huge red flag.
It
Because
is.
that's saying you're, I mean, well, why is it empty or what's,
No, they have 3 beds filled
of how many?
of
12,
16.
16?
16 bedrooms, 16 beds. They're all private
Okay,
because it is rated for Alzheimer's,
I see.
licensed for
So
Alzheimer's.
this is, so in addition to all the other bells and whistles, this is Alzheimer's as well.
Yes.
Hmm. How hard is it to fill those beds? Do you know? Do you have a sense?
The area, according to an independent appraiser, has 84% occupancy in that area for memory care,
Okay.
which Alzheimer's is a subset of.
Yeah. Has 84%. So what did you model this at? If you go to your P&L,
Fun
Michelle.
thing about assisted living, I'm actually
Michelle.
adding some of these orange fields.
Okay.
We have 3 filled now, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is to be filled with 8 by end of year 1. So our average ramp up is 5.5 people as we're filling up in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
Care ratio is 1 to 8 on memory care. I think it's 2 to 8 for Alzheimer's.
Hmm. So you got to have 4 people in there?
2 caregivers. Yeah, once we fill up to 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So what are the things that your teammates are saying that is making the price that's making you think, we need to bring the price down?
Uh, there were 2 people who work in assisted livings who want 2 people there at all times, no matter what um, clientele, what tenant we have.
I see.
So they want to be up to basically almost 500,000 right away.
Okay.
Wimberley is the Gillis's new one that they are purchasing. It is a 32 bed empty.
Mm-hmm.
So they have looked at our assisted living underwriting and said, well, maybe you should just half everything because we're a 16 bed licensed
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
facility.
that makes sense.
Um, Real estate taxes, that doesn't make sense. Our um oddly our tax rate is a whole lot less. It's really only 8,100 a year, which is really low. To be conservative, I'm saying, okay, let's say 14,000 for the first year, and then people want to bump up the real estate taxes because it'll be half of Wimberley's.
Yeah.
So kind of fighting that one.
Which one, the
Um,
tax?
Property tax, yeah.
I wouldn't I wouldn't fight that because, well, once you fill it up, you're going to have a tax return and they're going to increase your taxes. Probably not that much. But you can get away with usually the first year. They're not going to know what your income is. So I'm more on the conservative side. The problem is that can cause you to have an offer that's too low. But
The broker
you,
said he would not scoff at anything, and he really, really, really wants to work with us. He's already given me like 4 other pocket deals. So I don't want to piss him off, but my gut is 2 mil would be the least we could offer without slapping them in the face.
Hmm. Well, I want to tell you something, Gwen. Just take it or leave it, but I would not be worried about putting in a lowball offer because if, if what you have here, if you're comfortable with it, like, I mean, what's your offer? 185?
Yeah,
And your returns are looking like,
we can get 20.
I mean, those are good. Those are really good returns, but this is a lot of risk and there are a lot of moving pieces on this. And this goes for everybody. Like, do not be afraid to insult your broker. I'm learning that even still. Like, there's this guy on our team, Sandeep. I don't know if he still goes to y'all's meetings, but Sandeep, man, like this guy is not afraid to just slice the price, And I'm like, wow, I can't believe you just did that. But it's very freeing also because then I don't have to, we're not involved in any deals where we're like, oh my God, like this is really scary. Well, you are because there's always something, right? But if that's my one thing of wisdom that I want to give you guys today is don't be afraid to come in even below whatever your number is. Sanjay also loves to do that. He wants that 30%.
Yeah, that's kind of where we are.
So, no, I'm talking about there. You said Sanjay wanted 30% IRR, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, business is business.
Okay.
In fact, I would say, kind of put that banner on and go forth with it to like, try to lowball some people, see what happens, because you want to be able to whatever if you're going to offer 185, you want to be like, listen, like I stretched this as far as I could to get you 185. Like I absolutely cannot go any higher. I really wanted to do 1.7, but I have some people on this team that really want to do this deal, blah, 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 whatever, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
because I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, this is a lot of things have to go in the right direction, all together, you know.
First, personnel has to show up. We don't
Mhm.
need to call any on-the-spot contractor to fill in. I mean, this is kind of tight in that arena as well. Talk
Yeah,
about falling into place. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I would have when if you decide to make, 1.8 or even lower offer on this, have that information ready when you talk to the broker. And just tell them like I can only do what I can do and I can't do more than this because I'm not going to be able to raise the money with all this risk that we're taking on for less than. I mean, don't tell them what your returns are, but
I have told him what our gross is in year 5, and it's less than he would think. We're just over 1 million in year
hmm
5
hmm
gross. That's assuming we can hit 5.8
yeah, and that's a
K a
hundred
month
percent
rent.
occupied there.
Hmm. We
Yeah,
actually
go ahead.
it it's tough to get comps in
Yeah.
assisted living. That's another gotcha because
Mhm.
everybody wants every competitor wants to ask you all these level of care questions before they'll give you a price. They won't even
Yeah.
give you a base price. They'll say, well, how old? Are they already hospitalized? What's the health condition? Uh, I'm HIPAA certified, folks. Let's skip that one. Uh, uh, and it's it's really tough, but from what I could gather, about 6,800 is what our competitor is getting on a base for private pay. We are all private pay. This facility does not take Medicare or Medicaid. It says so on the license. So we would like
Why
to
did,
continue that.
yeah, why do they only have three residents? Have y'all asked that question?
Question.
Um, I sort of did, and here's the fun one. Their annual marketing was $104.
Oh.
That might be a problem. And they were
Are they
paying a
losing
whole
money?
lot of
I mean, I would
contracts.
imagine they have to be like hemorrhaging money right now, I would imagine.
They are. I would say they are bleeding. They are behind on their property tax. They have not paid. They are 20,000 behind on their property tax from the years 2022 to 2024.
Mm.
Sounds right.
Yep. So, yeah, they're hemorrhaging. I would think they would take any offer, a motivated seller, right?
Yeah. And that
Um,
that goes even further to like support your lower offer, They're losing money. Like it's not your responsibility to fix their problems. Like you can do what you can do. So,
yeah.
do you guys have do y'all have somebody to run this? Like who's gonna be doing the asset management? Who's doing what?
We have asked the Gillises, we actually need a sponsor, an experienced sponsor. That's another good thing to share. With memory care, if you're going to jump right into it, to get a small business administration loan, they want you to have 1 year experience operating one.
Mm-hmm.
So we've asked the Gillises to be our sponsor. So Tommy Gillis is taking that back to his wife, Jana. They're going to discuss it. And since they're the ones teaching the assisted living classes on Wednesdays, we
Mm-hmm.
asked them first.
Gotcha.
I guess the
Yeah.
fallback are the Burts in Dallas, um, who will, probably offer the hour cottage services. But
What's
hopefully the
our cottage?
Gillises will, you know, take us over the finish line. I've told them I don't have what it takes to get a small business administration loan.
Mm-hmm.
They do, as long as they aren't capped out above the 5 mil or whatever. Um,
Okay. And then who's gonna asset manage this thing?
there, asset manage,
Mm-hmm.
well, property manage, there is a company, Lori, I think. I talked with her when we were looking at the deal, the 40, who, how, who knows how many doors or how many beds, in Katy, Texas. Um, and I liked her. She seemed very friendly, reasonable, knowledgeable, and would operate in the Houston area.
And that's 5% is that's
That's that's
standard.
what I think I would get for 16 beds.
Okay.
The Gillises were already going to contact Lori
Wait a minute.
for their 32 bed in Wimberley, so they were also going to contact her and
Okay.
see, what they would do for the 16 bed,
Okay.
since the Gillises might be our sponsor.
Gotcha. I saw a couple hands up. You guys want to ask a question, John?
Um, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Hi, Audrey.
Am I
Hi.
on? Okay. Hey. So yeah, Audrey's been looking at this asset class for since the beginning, pretty much. And so have we. We've both been looking at it. And I would reiterate something you said, Amber, but exaggerate it. There's okay. So she putting my hand on my face. Okay, so there's risk levels and then there's uncertainty levels. and I just heard this recently, and I thought, oh, that's such a genius point. Risk is something you can assess, like over enough numbers of events, you can assess risk. Okay. I know this sounds a little pedantic, but just listen. So that means like, with insurance and things like that, we know if we've got 1,000 buildings, only a number of them will catch fire or whatever. All right. But uncertainty is impossible to assess. And with this type of asset class, while it has enormous potential to do great, you can get great returns from it, it's really difficult to assess risk because you're talking about one individual property. It's in this one location. There's so many like specific aspects to it that it's uncertain what you can do with it. Now, you can start to mitigate even uncertainty at a certain point, which is like you have like a really great business team, you can bring in all these great assets and things like that can like make it work. The point is, Gwen, you guys should not be reaching for this. You should be like what Amber was saying. No, go lowball. Go lowball and see where they're at. Because the reality is, even if somebody were to buy this at $2 million, I believe there's a good chance, a really good chance, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's going to be right back on the market in 6 months to a year. It's that difficult of a business to do. And I know you know that because Gwen, I know I've been listening to you. You know what the hell you're talking about and you know what you're doing. So I would say do not reach. But if you think this is something that really you guys could do and make work, and you're talking to the right people, I heard the people you're mentioning, those are the right people to talk to. I would say do not go like, oh yeah, we got to get this deal today. No, this might be something that comes back to you later. That's just my intimation based on what I've been seeing over the last year looking at these types of deals. I've seen people like look at these deals where they're basically getting them for nothing. And it still's a bad deal. You know what I mean? It's because it's such a difficult business to run.
It's all about operations,
It's
but
all
I
about,
think
yeah.
if it was
So,
a good operation, then, and if it was the right price, that's exactly where we want to be.
yeah, okay, there you go. Did you hear Audrey?
Yeah. Yeah, you both had really good point. I like the risk, um, or the uncertainty component. That'll help.
Yeah, and you bring that into your negotiation, all of a sudden the person who's like sitting there on the other side saying like, well, you can make all this money. It's like, no, 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 no. Sorry. Yeah, I could make all this money and I could lose everything. It's like it's
I'm
it
not paying for
Right.
your pro forma year 5.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
And I think that, I don't know how long you've been talking to brokers, but this is a really good place to sharpen your claws, and just almost, put the deal aside and be like, this is going to be an exercise in talking to this broker and me getting more comfortable and more comfortable defending my price,
That's good.
because
yeah.
you don't want to be the one who paid too much for the deal. I'm telling you right now, you do not. I had a deal the day Christmas Eve. The bank finally told us they're taking it back. Okay, that is a shitty. It's been a 3-year journey of just every day. You do not want to be the person who pays too much for the deal. So go in there and lowball them and have your justifications and treat it like, okay, I'm learning how to talk to brokers and they're going to come back to you when this deal doesn't sell. And they're going to be like, I remember Gwen knew what she was talking about. And let me run this by her.
Gwen listened to me for 3 hours one day. I'm not
Yeah,
kidding. I'm not exaggerating.
yikes.
The broker's probably feeling me out, but I'm feeling him out
Oh,
too.
they're totally
Even
feeling
more
you
so
out. And
because he's talking at me.
you don't want to be the sucker who's like, yeah, I'm gonna bite it too, or I'm gonna reach to do this deal that's a shitty deal. Like they're losing money. I mean, it's who I think I can't remember who said this, but business is business. Somebody typed that in earlier. Like it's all about the dollar. I mean, there are other things, but at the end of the day, that's all gotta align. Mike, did you have a question? I saw your hand up earlier.
I did, and I this is a safe space for me, so I'm going to say something kind of out there that you might have pushback on. Okay, but for me, this is a safe place to make mistakes. Um, so when I think of a community like an assisted living facility, I think more of like an upper class type place. It's cash pay. And to me, it's like, how can you have one in a Class D type of neighborhood? That's what we're talking about, right? People that have cash don't want to live there, and people that do live there don't have cash. So I'm not sure how this is all going to work. Maybe I was missing something or have been missing something all along. Now, one thing I can say, you've got experts in the field already with you. So, of course, what they say is best to listen to, not what I say. But that just was my thought. That's all I have.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid thought. The data is showing, though, that there's a decent amount of income around this. If you look at that justice map, can you scroll up a little bit? The darker the blue those areas are, the more money you have. Now, I don't know. What is that dark blue? If you click on it, that's a static image though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's an
Okay.
image.
Yeah. Um, so that area that they're in, the median income is $70,000. So I don't know what it needs to be for you to, stick your parent in a $6,000 a month. Somebody probably has that info. It seems to me like that would probably need to be a little bit higher. But
Yeah.
also you have these higher areas around you. So I think that's what Gwen was saying. And I'll let her speak for herself on that. But anytime you see a D crime, that's the issue if that's real.
The problem is the D crime. Okay, here's our property
Mm-hmm.
right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately over here we have businesses. There's businesses and then there's industrial rental all throughout here. I think that might be part of the D, but this residential actually looks nice. It does. Let me see if I can um go in there, see if that helps. Um yeah. No, I want
On one of those crime maps, you can, if you actually go to the URL and find the address, you can go to the property level. Like you can look at that property and you can zoom in or out however far you want to see the actual crimes that are being committed around there, and that can be kind of eye-opening as well. So if you were looking at this map, it might say, they have all these little icons around. It might be like, burglary or theft or, God forbid, murder. But um, if you look at some of those crime tools, you can get really granular and zoom in and see what that looks like relative to other areas.
Hey guys, this is
I mean, it doesn't look like a D. I mean, it doesn't have, you know, cars parked out. It looks like there's an HOA in the area. It doesn't say that the assisted living is in an HOA, but actually it does. There's a HOA fee of $10 a month.
Hmm.
But it's licensed and operating, so that's not an issue for us.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't look bad. I wish I could get a good street view, but
Jay Carlton Johnson, you were trying to say something. What do you got?
Yeah, Amber, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is my first time on this call, and I've been on it for about 30 minutes now. You guys are great. I love how you're analyzing this. I just have one question. If the area itself is questionable, why would a family want to put their loved one there?
Well, you guys are hitting on something that is vital because they won't unless you price it right. That would be the only thing if it's not a good area. But I think what Gwen is saying is she's not trusting that crime grade.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to say is like there's what were those two? Can you put those into the chat, the two crime tools? It was it
yeah.
crime grade?
Yeah.
Can you copy and paste those in the chat, Gwen, so everybody has those? And I encourage you guys to go look at these and play with them. I don't think it's this first one, but I know one of these crime tools, you can really zoom in there and look and see what's happening and have a much better sense of the crimes that are being committed there.
I'm gonna stop sharing for a second so I can find the chat.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. So you guys grab those links if you don't already have them and play around with those.
But you can see why I think the residential side is nice. I would probably put it in a B minus when I got there. You know,
Have
the
you been
houses
at
are,
night?
I have
What's it been like at night?
quiet.
Hmm.
Um, that's the sad part. But if anybody does a Google search, they'll see the deep, um, possibly. But I think it's the industrial over here dragging that down. There's literally a green belt behind us.
Mhm.
Here's the assisted living. Lots of green area between West Road, which is, it's a little bit busy.
What's that area of just openness right next to it? Is that actually open
It's
field?
it's green belt behind it.
Okay, that's good.
And yes, it has a culvert, you know, for drainage in that area. So it's not super buildable. So that's probably a good thing for Houston. But yeah, we've got a automotive. Um, even during the daytime, we didn't hear noise. I was concerned about that, but yeah, we think it's the businesses
Hmm.
pretty close. This
Have you
dragging.
considered calling the local police department and,
No,
and just asking them straight up, like, hey, I'm analyzing this area, thinking about starting a business, but I'm seeing that it's a whatever crime rate, D or whatever. What's your take on that?
you came in about 30 minutes ago. I'm going to say when I was here, I was parked right across the street and heard a lot of sirens. coming to this area right here, I believe.
Okay.
There's a police standoff. So they get some things. It looks like these are duplexes, and that might be bringing it down, but that's actually not in the crime grade line ends at West Road. So I don't know why something over here would bring it down, but maybe it
Yeah.
does.
The other thing was, is
I
that
like
this was on
them
the
calling it
very,
full police.
yeah, this was on the very edge of that D minus crime grade. It like where
D
that West
plus.
Road is sitting is a different crime grade. So but it is something that you don't want to get wrong.
Right.
You know, I think that his idea of calling the police department and just, getting somebody to give you the feels for that area.
Because it could be nuisance crime too.
Yeah.
I don't know how those numbers are calculated. I don't know what the calculus is behind the grades. But somebody breaking into your car, like you have that automotive thing around the corner.
Hmm.
A break-in like that is a lot different than an armed robbery,
Yeah.
which is a lot different than shootings, which is a lot different than
Right.
drug dealing. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, one of those crime tools will do that.
Okay. I'll go back into both of them. It's always tricky to get the address in there.
Yeah, that's always, I started to say like, I'm going to pull it up, but I'm not going to make y'all watch me try to do that because it's sometimes, excruciatingly difficult to get that address in there and zoom in on
Okay.
it. But if you're going to buy a $2 million property or even a $1.5 million property, you want to know for sure.
If anybody has better luck than I have.
Um,
Oh, I scared Frederick off.
any other questions or comments, y'all?
Does
Y'all are
anybody
brave
ever?
doing assisted living, man. That's a lot of levers and
Hmm.
pulleys and dingers and
Yeah, I work in the medical field too, and it's a lot to take care of people. And I took care of somebody that was older that passed away recently, and I took care of them and helped take care of them in an assisted living center, and it was a lot of work for everybody
yeah.
involved. So I know what it's about. I was just going to ask, and I feel bad asking this, but do we as investors, do we ever look at the ethnicity of a area and how that plays into the investment? For,
My first
for
mentor told me to look at that. I took that with a grain of salt, but
instance,
that's been my only experience is that looks like you froze up there, Mike, but my first mentor in commercial real estate did tell me to look at that. I
I do
don't know,
and
Mo.
I
believe
was just
that
thinking
the Trump
in
dad
downtown Dallas, and
was caught doing that and sued for that. So
well, hold on now. What I'm talking about is just looking online and saying, well, this is a place where there's a lot of, let's just say Asians, okay? And maybe Asians don't put family in assisted living centers. They tend to keep them at home. So maybe it's not the best place for an assisted living center if there's a lot of Asians there. It's not something that you would get in trouble for. It's just something you would think about in your brain before you stepped out and did your due diligence. That's what I'm referring to.
Michael, uh you can't discriminate on that after you buy the property and you're looking at tenants, but absolutely as the person looking at investment, you can consider whatever criteria you want. You're the buyer.
Okay. Thank you. That was that was a tough question for me to ask, and I
It's a
went
good
out on a
question.
poll, so
You're
I'm
being
done. Thank
brave
you.
today, Mike.
I know it. I'm being brave. And Gwen is like I'm like kind of pushing back against Gwen, and she's like my favorite of all the people in here. She's my favorite. And Amber.
I was gonna
Okay.
say I'm gonna slink away
Include
from here
Amber
now.
at
And
least.
Amber.
Fine, it's
All right. I'm
fine.
off.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
that's fine.
You're being booted, Mike.
Uh,
Hey, Amber, are your sessions archived at all?
yes. I don't know where, but yes.
Okay, I'll look for them.
Yeah, they're somewhere in the. Does anybody know?
Underwriting, go to the underwriting section. You will get all the videos of Amber.
Great. Thank you.
Am I still sharing?
No.
Okay. I can't see the.
The other thing that I want to mention, and I was, you know, Massive Capital was mentoring me for like probably over a year by the time they said this, but they were like, you know, y'all need to, and we flew by the seat of our pants. Like we didn't have all the structure that you guys have, but they were like, you guys need to build a team. You know, you need to have a team ready to pull the trigger. You need to know who's going to be the KP. You need to know who's going to be the asset manager. You need to know who's going to run construction. You need to know, you know, who's going to do the earnest money. So I want to throw that out there in case no one has said that to y'all yet. Like, you should be doing that at least in parallel with underwriting these deals. Because if you get a deal that pops, that's a good deal, you know, that works for you, you need to be able to, you know, kick it in go gear and have the go team ready. And I remember when they told us that, I was like, oh my God, I don't know who's going to be the KP on this. Like, it's not going to be me, you
Yeah,
know, and
I can,
that like caused a little like Twitter patient in my heart. So y'all be thinking about that. And that's what I'll be asking anytime you've got a deal is like, all right, who's asset managing this? Who's going to be the KP? Who's got the earnest money? Who's got the experience? So start thinking about that if you don't already, and if you do, good on you.
yeah, I can definitely endorse that sentiment. I started about a year ago, way before any of this structure was in place. And Mike and the guys, they stuck me with a bunch of folks, and we had a great team. We did some great presentations. We were doing underwriting. We were doing all that stuff. But then when it came down to actually doing the deal, that's when the gaps in
Mm-hmm.
the team became very evident. And over, I would say, once we all had that realization, it took about 60 days, and then the team just basically dissolved.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely endorse that.
Yeah. Shit gets real when you start talking about money and who's getting
Yep.
paid what and you know and what you got to give up to get a KP and all of that. So start figuring that out before you need it. It's my words of wisdom. I waited till the very end.
Being on a team that's got people that have done it over and over and over and over again is really important. And that's one of the reasons why I picked the asset class that I did, is because it's got people on it that have done it over and over and over again. It's not that it's my favorite asset class. It's
Yeah.
just got people on it that have done it.
Yeah. Execution is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably go through the GP table pretty soon, figure out who's capable of doing what, who wants to do what.
Yeah.
The previous ALF team I had that kind of just fizzled because the deal fizzled. And then we changed buy boxes. Um, they brought the GP table in early because they were in on the Midland and triple net that kind of someone else here knows about that one, but um, they brought money in on due diligence and it was just gone.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, shit gets real when you got to start putting up money.
yeah. And assisted living has that plus. We have to have code enforcement. We have to have, plus checking all the plumbing and all that due diligence.
Mhm.
and the CHOW, which is license change owner. So there's a whole lot more layers in assisted living. We also have a required director, who's required there 40 hours a week, as well as property management and asset management. So assisted living, we really got to know who's doing what and when. So yeah.
Start working it out if you haven't. Well, guys, we are over time. It has been a pleasure as always. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time.
Have a
Somebody
good
else
evening.
needs to come with another joke next week.
And a deal.
And a deal. Yes, jokes and deals. All right, bye, guys.